Hi, I'm Leah Raid, and tonight I would like to shed a little light on relating well. I do a lot of marriage counseling and marriage coaching, and so many times the couple they get very, very frustrated when they believe that they should be able to relate well, when in reality, where do we really learn good communication skills? So I'm excited because I believe that once we learn these communication skills, we need to be multiplying that. We need to be, all of us, good teachers of effective communication skills. So we can all relate well, no matter if it is in a marriage, any kind of relationship, we need to learn how to relate well. There are some key ingredients, and for the sake of time, I picked three that I want to look at tonight. And the first one is self awareness. You cannot be an effective communicator without being self aware. What does that mean? Well, it means that we need to really understand our personality type. And we need to understand how other people perceive things and how they would like to be communicated with as well. There are a couple of really good, effective assessments out there. The Myers Briggs is one of them, or the DISC assessment is another. And we can teach people then how to communicate better with us, and we can learn better how they would like to be communicated with as well. And that leads us to a communication style. We have reflective styles. There is emotive styles, directive styles. My husband is a very reflective style. He needs time to process some information. He needs to really be thoughtful about how he's going to communicate. So I need to give him that wait time. I, on the other hand, I'm very directive or even emotive at times. I tend to be a talker, and I know that about myself. I also know that I need accountability because we all have those blind spots in our lives, and we need those people in our lives that we've invited in that to point out those blind spots. And we need to be very, very open to feedback. There's a wonderful book that we not only recommend, but it really is to our volunteers here at the church and our staff members. It's really required reading. We set up times during the year that we read this book together, and it's called Thanks for the Feedback. And it helps to lessen defensiveness. It helps to understand so we can really be better listeners and apply those helpful criticisms to our lives. So we need to be very self-aware. If we're not, it's very hard to take the next step, which is being an effective listener. And effective listening starts with verbal and nonverbal cues. I recently had a couple that I was doing some marriage coaching with, had never met them. They walked into the church, I had very open body language. I said, "I'm so glad to meet you. Come on in. We're going to sit over here. Would you like some coffee?" Immediately, they felt at ease. We started talking about communication and how words, while they matter, tone and body language is far more important. And so I said, well, what if I had, when you had walked in the door, what if I had my arms crossed and I said, "I'm glad you're here. We're going to sit over here. There's coffee over there." They were shocked. I said, same words, but the tone and the body language, making good eye contact, very, very important in helping people feel safe, helping them to feel like they can open up, and helping them to feel less defensive. Active listening, really listening to learn, not listening to respond. We have to sit there and set aside our agendas, set aside our judgments, set aside resentments, even for us to be able to really listen to the person, to ask curious questions, to be very interested in what they are saying. And too often we're listening to respond, and then we end up fighting to be right. We just talk over one another, and that's never okay, and quite frankly, very disrespectful. We need to listen with empathy. We need to validate feelings. We need to say, I can see how you would feel that way. Or even take the risk and say, sounds like you feel this way. Even if they're not feeling that way, it allows us to go deeper because they can say, no, that's not really what I meant. Okay, well, tell me what you mean then. Validating feelings does not mean that we have to agree. I recently had someone who came to me. They were bothered by something I had said in my sermon. And I said, tell me what bothered you. I can see how you could feel that way. And I'm so sorry that you were bothered. I didn't agree, but I was able to connect and validate their feelings and really see from their perspective how they could feel that way. We need to be better at doing that. Validating someone's feelings is again, it's not agreeing, it's just saying, I see that this is how you feel, or this is how you're feeling. Active listening is mirroring. That's where it begins. It's listening to the words that are spoken, looking at the body language, and literally just mirroring back. I hear you say whatever they said. Quite often, when I mirror something back to someone, they'll say, ooh, did I really say it like that? I guess I did. And they hear themselves rather than, me accusing them or sounding like I'm accusing them. I'm using their words. I'm using their cadence. I'm using their tempo. I'm using their everything. It's just a mirroring back what they're saying. So effective listening has many components, and we need to practice. Practice makes progress. Practice makes permanent. Doesn't make perfect, but we have to be willing to really try. And third is conflict management. See, I'm one of those rare people that believe that conflict is an opportunity to communicate in a deeper way, because I understand that people are not always going to understand. They're bringing their baggage, they're seeing through sometimes dirty lenses, and or they're looking through cultural differences. They're looking through the way they were raised differently, and we have to be willing to explore all of those things, starting with what I call ALF. We need to assume love first. We need to put aside our boxing gloves. We need to put aside our shields, and we need to come to the person that we're in conflict with and believe the best, believe a win-win outcome. We need to strive for that win-win, not striving to be right, not fighting to get our way, but being willing to say, let's look at this to where we can win together. And then we need to have a plan. In every other area of our life, when we're at work, we have systems, but we don't believe that we need systems for our relationships, but we really do. When people come in and a couple comes in and they are you can tell there's a lot of tension, there's heat coming from them. I pull out this sheet where it is a conflict management plan. And I ask them, how did you understand this problem? How did each one of you understand it? What is your part in it? Because we each have our parts in it. Let's explore, let's brainstorm, even being a little silly on ways that we can solve this problem. And they start brainstorming. Let's handle a few of these, set aside the funny ones, but handle a few of these and look at the pros and cons, and then let's choose one that we might put into place and say, this might really, really work. And then put it into place and have a little reward system for the fact that you worked this out together. We never resolve conflict when we are fighting to be right. Jesus said a lot about, really gave us the great conflict management plan when he says, go to your brother and talk to them in private and try to work this thing out. If you need to bring somebody with you, do that afterwards. And again, in Matthew 5:23-24, which is one of our verses or passages that we follow around here, it is so important to reconcile, that you leave your gift at the altar and go and be reconciled. And reconciliation really is here. It's being obedient to God, it's going to the person, it's sitting down, and it is talking and understanding and appreciating that God has created us differently for a wonderful reason. That was what really got my attention. I wanted my husband to be like me, and he's not like me. He is everything that I need, very different than I am. And when I was convicted that, it was really blasphemy for me to want him to be like me, wanting him to be decisive, wanting him to make quick decisions and he's very thorough, and I need that. I need his reflective personality, communication style. I need his gentleness, and because it really provides the balance or the harmony that I need. So it's not easy. We need to be willing to work through and work at effective communication. And then we need to take it to other people and teach them. Teach it to our kids, teach it to our neighbors, teach it in our churches, the way to effectively communicate. So, just wrapping things up, this course has really reinforced in me these and reminded me of the value and the need to be effective communicators. And it has caused me to go even a little deeper with my church members, with the clients that I meet with. I do a lot of grief counseling, which means that I have to really listen well and do a lot of empathetic listening with the grief counseling that I do. And then I do a lot of relationship coaching as well. But this course has reinforced that we need to be active listeners. We need to be self-aware. I need to be able to handle and accept and invite feedback because I do have those blind spots. And so I'm so grateful that I was able to participate in this course. And my hope for all of us is that we multiply what we've learned and find that we create effective influence, effective communication. So thank you for letting me share.